this is part 2, and yeah, this is kind of like more of a tutorial how to run them right, because heck, I couldn't run these right if I tried, and thankfully he's explaining all this to y'all, so the many Fabled fans can finally get the deck done and all this, that, and the other. All right, go ahead.
Well, I'll do what I can. Tour bus, again with the tour guide plays, it's really, really good. It can recycle all of your synchro monsters. It can recycle another tour guide if you want it. So you can go tour guide into tour bus, rank into it.
Detach.
Start playing in the Zen mains. You detach the tour guide first, and then after you detach the tour bus, let's take that tour guide and put it back into your deck for another tour guide play.
Yeah.
So it's very consistent alone already with these kinds of plays. However, you can also discard it through your many outlets and recycle a tuner, lackluster soldier, honest, any one of those cards.
Yeah.
Sanguine hits 90% of all your main decked monsters. It's really good. Defense, like I was saying, is one of your biggest issues. So you have Spirit Reapers. These are monsters that you could just keep set, flip up. It's a dark type and it's a level 3, which facilitates you going for your level 3 rank monsters or your Synchro 5s. So
it also can be just as well offensive by making your opponent discard stuff.
Yeah, since you can attack with it and take out one of your opponent's cards from hand, it does a little bit of damage, but it can be more devastating on when it hits.
Yeah.
I don't play a full plant engine, however, the whole concept of being able to Foolish Burial a Dandelion, give myself level 1 tokens, go into Chawa and Cerberus, I can Synchro Summon into Formula, start going into a Quasar play even if you wanted. And Spore as well, it works great in Grave. You're running plenty of discard outlets in this deck, so you can have Spore in Grave really easy.
Yeah.
Remove from play your Dandelion.
Good old-fashioned plant tactics.
Yes, you can just sink into one of your tokens and everything, and it works great.
Yeah.
A lot of people think Dandelion isn't enough for a Spore. Personally, you're already running a lot of fast stuff. You can actually wait with a Spore Engrave for a few turns without having to use them because you have other options to sync for better defenses.
For the time is right, yeah.
Yes. This is into the spells and traps. Allure of Darkness, you run plenty of darks that you could just throw away. So if you really feel like you need the draw power, then that's really good. Typically, you got to be careful whenever you're playing against Dark Worlds with this next one. But if you're in a bind, and especially if they have a limited size hand, you can discard your Dandelions and your Spores, as well as all of your Fabled monsters. Like I said, they all kick off at once because they're mandatory effects. So they will all allow the special summons to occur.
Yeah.
Another big one is pretty much a pseudo Dark Hole, Lightning Vortex. You kill all of your opponent's monsters instead of your own, but you must discard a card. That's not a problem when you're working with Fables or with plants. Something that's a bit more defensive is Scapegoats. You can't special summon or like normal summon any other monsters the same turn you activate.
But you chain it on end phase.
But you could just have this set and activate it on your end phase. Have 4 monsters out, normal summon a tuner, go to town. Pot of Avarice, really, really good. You will always
mandatory.
You will always have monsters in Grave that you want to reuse.
Also, I noticed that you didn't run Dad. Why didn't
Dad, personally, you do have a lot of graveyard control, but he is an option. You have to run a lot more darks than I do currently. You have to run the Snipe Hunter. You have to run the full tour guide engine. And you just have to run a lot more darks in general. Basically just what I showed you, plus a little bit more. Just any other tech choices you can come up with.
Yeah.
Since you're full of tuners and non-tuners, Mind Control is really amazing. Then the foolish plays, like I always say. And Heavy Storm, Dark Hole, Monster Reborn.
The trio.
I don't play MSTs because honestly they're a little boring. This may be control format, but since it's so controlling already, 2 or 3 MSTs will be a little pointless when your opponent is running 6 to 7 of Bottomless, Solemn Warning, Mirror Force, Torrential. It's going to hurt you a lot, so why not just go balls deep and just start special summoning out the ass? That's why I prefer something like Tricky, because he makes you faster, and you can set up with a Great Wall to facilitate going up against those really hard Mirror Forces and everything.
Or them random magic cylinders people play. I hate them.
The reason why I love the draw power in this deck is because it helps you draw even more power.
Yeah.
3 Reckless Greens.
There we go.
3 Reckless Greens. That's why I like the allure.
Plus you can chain it too.
That's why I love the allure and the card destruction. The important thing, you must be very careful with this, because since you skip your next 2 draw phases, you want to activate this on preferably your turn. If you activate it on your end phase, if it's the first one you activate on your end phase, yeah, you skip one of the turns and everything. On your opponent's end phase, my apologies. If you activate this on one of your opponent's end phase, then you do only have to skip one of your turns. However, you skip their draw phase for the next turn. So, like, you're 1 card less, typically speaking.
Yeah.
And you run the allure and you run the card destruction, so that way you can keep drawing more cards and get into those stuff.
So necessarily you never hit like a rock bottom.
Yes, typically you want to activate these when you have a very large hand size. It is good for those plays that just really need to go balls deep, and just like you have nothing in hand, you have nothing on field but a Reckless Greed. Flip the Reckless Greed, you draw into Gores on their attack. They can't take back the attack because you're not affecting the monster lineup on field. So you drop the Trag, you drop the Gores, and you give yourself another defense to live.
See, that is something cool that I never even thought about.
So that's my main deck. It's very, very trap small and everything, but it's meant to just speed you up.
Yeah.
And you already saw a few of my Synchro monsters and XYZ monsters, but I'll go over them again.
Adris, Leviathan,
and Zen-Mains, because you will go for your Tour Guide plays. Tour Guide may just be 2 cards, but he's too consistent to ignore the possibility for rank 3 summoning. And you will summon plenty of level 5s to go into those plays. You go into Fable Dragon, you go into Cataster and Librarian. After these use up their usefulness, you can go into a Tyrus and start giving you a little bit more beach stick power.
Yeah.
Then you have Fabled Unicorn. He's the specialty level 4. You can run Armory Art, but since most of your tuners are Fabled, you can get around his requirement to have only Fabled tuner.
Yeah.
If you have equal cards in hand to your opponent, everything they activate, including counter traps, are negated because it's a continuous effect and not an ignition effect. You know how Void Ogre Dragon or Shien they can't stop counter traps. This guy can.
Now
So you can go into you synchro summon into Unicorn, set a Morphing Jar, flip the Morphing Jar. You discard your entire hand. You both are at 5 cards now. He negates all of the Dark World effects because they resolve after the Morphing Jar was played. Then you go into card destruction, discard all your Fableds to special summon more stuff. It activates again. Now you're back to 5 cards, and same with your opponent. So you just burn through
all their resources.
Somewhere between 5 to 10 cards from their deck, and they're left with not much of anything. Like, they're left with a new hand, but they can't do much of anything if you're going for the OTK right then and there. You go Unicorn, you go Blackluster Soldier or Chaos Sorcerer, and you just start pounding in and just going for the kill. Formula, you're running plants. You're running low-level tuners, level 1 tuners and non-tuners. So Formula is pretty much a staple. You go into Librarian, you go into Formula Synchron. You're also seeing all the level 5s and Formula. So obviously I do play Shooting Quasar, and Shooting Star Dragon. If anything, even if you can't go into Quasar, you go into Shooting Star. He's already pretty formidable to block what your opponent wants to do. If you can play a little bit of control in a deck like this, it really puts you a step ahead.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you have the Ancient Sacred Wyvern, the Black Rose Dragon, and my tech choice for the other Synchro Level 8 is Colossal. A lot of people like the consistency of Colossal or Scrap Dragon, so it's really your choice, but Colossal Fighter can stand on its own, where Scrap Dragon, typically you'd rather pop another card other than Scrap Dragon to activate his effect.
Yeah, and he's a good beat stick.
Yes, so you can use Scrap Dragon to pop off your opponent's back row, but this guy can handle just about any monster out there, especially when we were in the format where Chaos Dragons were big.
Yeah.
You would have Colossal Fighter being able to stave off your opponent's attacks from Red Dragon, like Red Eye's Darkness Metal.
Yeah. All right.
So you're able to do that. So.
All right. Thank you for the build, and this will be up on Chaos Affliction. So if y'all like, subscribe, rate, gain ideas, comment, whatever. All right. And we're also at our locals, Jack's, and I'm gonna bring you more deck lists. All right. Thank you, and peace out.